Absolutely not, Mom. You must not look. 5-year-old Emma shouted with a stern face. It was an expression I couldn't imagine on her usual self. I was taken aback by her vehemence. Emma, what's wrong? This package is addressed to Mom, isn't it? It doesn't matter. She pushed me away from the package. This was a gift from my mother-in-law. I needed to check the contents and thank her. What would it take for you to let me see it? I need to thank Grandma. When I honestly told her this, Emma's face showed a complex expression. After looking down thoughtfully for a while, she turned to me and said clearly, "Call the man from across the street. You can open it if the police are here too." What? It's getting pretty cleaned up in here. I wiped the sweat from my brow after finishing most of the cleanup in the room that had become half storage space. It's tough, but for the sake of our second child on the way, it's worth it. Our family consists of my husband Oliver, myself, and our daughter Emma. Oliver, who works for a prestigious company, tries to look after the family despite being busy with work. Emma, our elementary school student, is a gentle child, though a bit dreamy. I'm proud when neighbors and other moms praise her, saying things like, "Emma stopped a fight between our kids," or, "She often takes care of younger children." Sometimes she stares intently at empty spaces, or when we're out she'll say, "This place is scary," and insist on taking a detour, but other than that, she's a daughter I'm proud of with no concerning issues. Right now, I'm a full-time housewife, supporting my husband and daughter's daily lives. Every day is enjoyable, and we have no worries within our family. As I was carefully descending the stairs, cradling my belly, I saw a shadow behind the door. I sighed at the familiar silhouette. "Angie? Are you there?" "Yes, I'm coming." My recent source of worry is my mother-in-law. She was born into a wealthy family and dotes excessively on her son, Oliver. When we set up our new home, she purposely moved nearby. Since then, she's been coming to our house almost every day, criticizing me before leaving. When I showed my mother-in-law into the room, she clicked her tongue in the living room, just like yesterday. "Still a messy room, I see."
Do you know some people earn over $10,000 a month just by posting Reddit stories on YouTube? No face, no voice, just a laptop. I do it too. Link below if you're curious.
Those are Emma's toys, aren't they? As a mother, you should make her clean up. I made her promise to clean up when she gets home. What's with that tone of voice? Really, this is why common folk are no good. You have no manners. Your words are far more ill-mannered. Of course, I didn't say this out loud, and silently made coffee instead. My mother-in-law apparently wanted Oliver to marry a woman from a similar background as herself. Moreover, she holds the old-fashioned belief that women should bear male children and protect the home, so she's also harsh towards Emma. I can't help but think that if my mother-in-law's attitude were a little different, we could lead a much more enjoyable life. That night, when I told Oliver about his mother, he raised his eyebrows. "Mom saying such things again. I'll have a stern talk with her." "But it's okay. You and Emma are what's important to me." Oliver, who said this, went to his mother's place the very next day and talked to her. Surely, if her son tells her off, my mother-in-law's harassment will decrease. Despite everything, I truly thought I had a good partner. I looked at Oliver with an anxious expression. At that time, I didn't notice Emma's gaze. A few days later, a package arrived from my mother-in-law. Thinking she could have just brought it over herself given the short distance, I accepted it from the delivery person. It was light for its size, and I had no idea what could be inside. I placed it on the living room table and was about to open it when Emma came running. "Mom, wait." "Huh?" Emma snatched the box and ran into the bathroom with it. She locked the door from the inside, and I couldn't open it from outside. Not understanding the meaning of her actions, I knocked on the door. "Emma, that's a package that arrived from Grandma. Can you give it back?" As soon as I said that, Emma let out a small "eep." Wondering what had happened, I was about to knock again when Emma came out. She was holding the box tightly, as if not wanting to hand it over to me, with her brow furrowed. She went straight outside and headed towards the garbage area. "Hey Emma! What are you doing?" After confirming that Emma had put down the box, I grabbed her arm. "Hey, what's going on? I won't get angry, so tell me. What was inside?" "Mom must absolutely not look," Emma shouted with a stern face in front of the trash can. However, I was confused, not understanding the reason for her attitude. "Emma, just don't." Emma was being so insistent that there must be some reason, but it was a gift from my mother-in-law. I needed to check the contents and thank her. However, Emma probably wouldn't back down at this rate. "What would it take for you to let me see it? I need to thank Grandma." When I honestly told her this, Emma's face showed a complex expression. After looking down thoughtfully for a while, she turned to me and said clearly, "Call the man from across the street. You can open it if a police officer is here too." After saying that, Emma fell silent. With no other choice, I went to Richard's house across the street and explained the situation. Richard kindly agreed and came to look at the box with us. Emma still had a tense expression on her face. Richard opened the box with a smile, but froze the moment he saw the contents. "This is... what's inside?" When I saw the contents of the box, I nearly collapsed. It was packed full of cards, each stained with a dark red substance. No, not stained. Looking closer, there were words written. All of them were words wishing misfortune upon the child in my womb. I understand the meaning of the words, but my mind refuses to comprehend them. The scene before my eyes links with memories I don't want to recall. My breathing becomes shallow, and everything goes dark before my eyes. And then I lost consciousness. Afterward, Richard and Emma carried me home. The box and its contents were checked by the police. Apparently, those dark red letters were written with fish blood. On Richard's advice, I filed a police report, so the culprit might be found eventually, but the wounds in my heart won't heal for a while. As I lay in bed, I recalled things from the past. When I was in middle school, I once found my desk filled with letters of misfortune. I didn't know the reason. Back then, classmates were taking turns being ostracized, and it was simply my turn. That might have been the only reason. However, it was enough to shatter my young heart. From that day on, I became a truant and grew afraid of seeing letters. Even now, I can vividly remember the mass of misfortune letters written in red ink. "Angie, are you okay? Can you eat something?" "Ah, yes. Thank you. Oliver brings me a tray with bread and soup. Though I know it's bad manners, I decide to eat while sitting up in bed. I'm sorry about my mother. We don't know for sure it was your mother yet, do we? Who else could do such a thing but her? I went with Richard earlier to complain, but she played dumb. After grumbling about his mother, Oliver said he got a call from work and left. However, I had a feeling that it might not be my mother-in-law. It's true that she saw me as an enemy, but she's not the type to do such roundabout things. Besides, it seems too perfect that it would accurately target my trauma. The only people who know about my middle school experience are my immediate family and Oliver. As I pondered this, I took a bite of the bread. It had peanut butter in it, and I couldn't help but smile at the deliciousness. I've always liked peanut butter, but my sister used to say she hated it. I have a sister. However, we hardly ever communicate. She was careless with her relationships and extremely jealous. Even when I got married, she was openly jealous and would try to seduce Oliver at every opportunity. And she did this not because she liked Oliver, but because she liked his family background and status. Oh. Come to think of it, I think I got an email from Jessica about my sister. Jessica is my childhood friend and lives nearby. We don't get to meet often because she's also raising children, but we keep in touch occasionally. She was on my side when I was bullied in school, and we promised to help each other in times of need. This Jessica had sent me an email about a month ago. I saw your mother-in-law and your sister together. Did something happen? This might mean. I hadn't paid much attention to the email when I received it, but thinking about it now, my sister might have told my mother-in-law about my trauma. It seems too elaborate and extreme for mere harassment, but my sister, who probably still resents me after that incident, might be capable of it. Previously, when Emma and I were visiting my parents' home, my sister happened to bring her fiancé. Apparently, he was a high-status fiancé, and my sister kept boasting with her nose in the air. However, when Emma saw this, she said to the fiancé, "Auntie, there are lots of men on your back. It's dangerous." After that, my sister's fiancé investigated her background, discovered her promiscuous relationships, and broke off the engagement. My sister had already resented me before, but this became the final straw. She started doing things that went too far, like lurking around Emma's kindergarten until the police were called, or making silent phone calls to our house. Of course, my parents were furious, and my sister had to write a pledge never to approach us again. Since then, I heard that my sister had returned to our parents' home and was working part-time jobs. Apparently, some of the men she had been involved with were married, and the amount of compensation demanded was not insignificant. When I felt better, I contacted Jessica. After I told her everything, Jessica got angry as if it had happened to her. Then, she managed to find my sister's social media account. "It's definitely your sister who's behind this. Look at this." When shown the screen, I almost fainted again. There were numerous hidden photos of me and Emma posted. It's terrifying how she's deliberately noting the time and place, trying to figure out our behavior patterns. As I kept looking, I noticed one person frequently commenting, "Is this my mother-in-law?" Huh. From the account name and the distinctive comment content, my mother-in-law's image came to mind. As I looked through everything, there was a post that confirmed it was my mother-in-law. In what appeared to be a photo taken at a diner, my sister's nails and my mother-in-law's bag were captured together. It was captioned, "Strategy Meeting in Progress," with a heart emoji, and I felt my blood boil. Playing with people's lives and stirring up trouble out of personal grudges. I can't forgive this. In 2 weeks, we're scheduled to attend my father-in-law's memorial service, where my parents and sister are also expected to come. I made up my mind to confront them there. As soon as I got home, I told Oliver about this plan. Contrary to my expectations of opposition, he readily agreed. He even asked to play the role of the accuser. How reliable he is. With a dependable husband and a trustworthy best friend, I'm sure we can overcome this difficult situation. On the day of the memorial service, in addition to the relatives, Jessica and her husband also came. And there were a few guests that only I knew about. Thank you all for gathering here today. And Oliver suddenly pointed at his mother. My mother-in-law's face visibly paled. Mother, this is where we cut ties with you. What? What kind of joke is this? I quickly showed screenshots of social media posts, records of harassment, recordings, and photos of the cards filled with blood-written messages that were packed in the box. Then, as if on cue, many men stood up. The one who changed color at this sight was my sister. They were all men who had been deceived by my sister. Everyone had been unable to track my sister's whereabouts and had given up, but I had contacted them and gathered them here to propose a lawsuit. My mother-in-law and sister sat down with expressions as if it were the end of the world. Seeing this, Emma muttered, "Grandpa is really angry. His face is all red. And you know, the man with a scar under his eye and the blonde man with a horse earring are really angry too." As soon as she said this, my sister began to tremble. As if chanting a prayer, she kept repeating, "Not him, he's really dangerous." No one reached out to help these pitiful two. I'm not at fault. I was dragged into this by this old hag. What? You're the one who approached me with lies about being a young lady from a good family. It's your fault for being fooled. To stop the two who were squabbling loudly, I cleared my throat loudly. The two immediately stopped fighting and looked at me. So, which one of you sent those letters? I don't know anything about such disgusting things. It must have been you. I don't know either. Then, Emma, who had been quiet beside me, pointed and said, "It was Dad, right? And that woman there." Emma, what are you saying? That's right, children are scary, aren't they? As the two tried to cover it up, I felt like crying. The truth is, I wanted it to be a lie. I didn't want to believe that the two people I trusted most in the world had conspired to bring me down. That's enough. I already know. Actually, I had received a consultation from Jessica's husband. He suspected that his wife and my husband might be having an affair. I couldn't believe it, but to put my mind at ease, I hired a private investigator, and the results were conclusive. Moreover, I had also received a consultation from Emma. Dad was playing with fish at night. It was really scary, she had said. At that time, I didn't understand what she meant, but he must have been making those blood-written cards. Apparently, Emma had been sensing ominous energy from Oliver from the beginning. And supposedly, the baby in Mommy's tummy told me, she said. Oliver and Jessica fell to their knees on the spot. Both of them were pale as ghosts. Oliver, why did you do such a thing? Because, your mother and sister were annoying, and neither you nor Emma are cute at all. I thought if things went well, I could get rid of everyone and maybe even get some settlement money. Shocked by this absurd reason, I couldn't help but slap Oliver's cheek. Several years have passed since then. Liam, it's time to eat. Emma holds a spoon to the mouth of my 2-year-old son. Liam eats it with relish. It's nothing special, but it's a happy scene. It's a sight I couldn't have imagined when the incident occurred. Afterward, the 4 perpetrators were all cut off from their families. Bad things continued to happen to each of them. My sister was pushed by a passing man and broke her leg. There were eyewitness reports of a man wearing a horse earring. My mother-in-law developed dementia and was admitted to a facility. Apparently, she moans, "Please forgive me," every night. Oliver and Jessica eventually broke up. Jessica, unable to see her own children at all, vented her resentment on Oliver and is now a shut-in, they say. And Oliver, suffering from unexplained body pains that interfered with his work, voluntarily resigned. Pondering the meaning of karma, our family is living a peaceful life. Emma seems more relaxed now than when Oliver was around. Suddenly curious about the past, I call out to Emma. Her round eyes turn to me. "Hey, can you still see anything?" "What do you mean?" Emma tilts her head cutely and goes back to taking care of Liam. Emma's mysterious power has now disappeared. Thanks to that power, we were able to start living a peaceful life. I resolved to live to the fullest, not to shame the future Emma had connected for us.